What's up, everybody? Brian Wagner, lead content creator for Dragzine.com here at SEMA, which typically isn't a drag racing show, so a little bit of a fish out of water scenario for me in that aspect. Covered the show before when I ran Street Muscle magazine, so I kind of know what's going on here, but it's a really, really cool show just for the sheer variety of what you are never going to see anywhere else. Being a drag racing guy at heart, I have different tastes than everybody else, you know, that might cover this show, especially in the drag racing world. So I'm going to walk around SEMA, check a lot of stuff out. I'm going to show you my favorite cars here at SEMA. They don't represent anybody else's flavor or taste but my own. But in this world of variety, we're going to find some stuff that stops and makes me go, huh, that's pretty cool. All right, so we found our way into the off-road portion of SEMA, and of course, nothing cooler in my opinion than trophy trucks. You race RC cars, this is just a really, really big version of these things. I mean, how cool, you know, got all your gear back there. I think this is one of the open desert trucks maybe. I don't know, I just love it. It's cool as hell. Definitely hits that in my book. Big old knobatars. Then here we got giant shocks for all the suspension travel. A little bit of a different driver's compartment than I'm used to dealing with in there, but these things are just absolutely gnarly to watch. I love watching them on Flow Racing when they have them on some cool off-roading stuff. But yeah, trophy trucks, always cool. Well, as a drag racer, of course, naturally, I'm going to find a drag car here. And what better than Dino Don Nicholson's championship-winning Pro Stock Mustang 2. Probably one of the only cool Mustang 2s you're ever going to see, but, you know, Dino Don was an absolute legend in the Pro Stock world. And in general, just you look back through history at drag racing, he's one of the most prolific match racers back in the day, you know, stock, super stock, raced so many different kinds of vehicles. So it's cool to see a piece of history preserved like this, you know, back in the day when 8-second pro stock cars were the norm. You know, it's a little bit different than these days, but I mean, it's absolutely amazing. You're seeing, I can't really see inside, the camera won't pick, you know, grabbing gears, an old school Linko, you know, like God intended with the pro stock car. I mean, really, really cool stuff to see something like this at SEMA, this piece of drag racing history from someone, Dino Don. Wish you could see what's under the hood if it was one of the John Cossey period correct Ford engines, but you know, we'll take what we can get. All right, so here's something that's definitely cool. Not your typical Dodge truck style build. Got a little bit of bling blow up in here on the old Cummins. I mean, that's some old school craftsmanship right there. Even onto the turbos and everything. Not sure how much how usable that is, but that's cool. I dig that. Now, you know, it's got bass boat paint. Dig that. Even the intricate details. Oh, inside, look at that. All up in the frame, the suspension, lower control arms, shocks. Got some blingy tires, or wheels rather. You know, you can look at the underneath there. All up underneath this, every ounce of this thing is painted. Inside, again, same details inside. Just love the bass boat paint. And then back here, of course, give me two of the big bottles. That's right, Fire Punk Diesel up in Plain City, Ohio, helped out with this build. Lots of detail. And that's wild, that's different. Then we can even see down here, up underneath, more of the same. Let's see if we can get a good look at this underneath here. There it is, there's the money shot. Look at that, totally wild. Functional, don't care, really cool in my book. All right, so I don't live in the off-road world, but that doesn't necessarily mean I can't like off-road stuff. And found this, I don't know what booth this is, doesn't matter. Cool as hell. Check this thing out. VW Bug, bodied off-road vehicle. all the suspension travels, big old knobotars. It's a little bit different interior department than what I'm used to working out of as a drag racer, but still pretty cool. I'd rock it. I'd love to go for a ride in one of these, you know, just ride shotgun, be a passenger, press test, and enjoy myself. But definitely cool because it's not something I typically get to be around. So yeah, definitely cool as all get out. All right, so I've seen a lot of different stuff crammed under the hood of a Miata, but you know, small block Chevy, small block Ford, but a Lamborghini engine. That's a new one. That's cool. Twin turbo. Yeah, it's a little wild. Interesting color choice as well, but definitely not something I would expect to see. And I guess that's what makes SEMA so cool. You know, inside the car, all your instrumentation needs. Yep, it's still a manual, but yeah, that's a new one. A Lambo engine in a Miata, twin turbo. Definitely scoring a whole lot of style points with that. Lowrider Impalas always kind of have their own cool factor to it, but how do you take it to the next level? You put a rather large, roots blown, LS-based engine. Car is called Sexy Red. All of the whole engraving situation on this blower, I mean, that is totally wild. A little bit of gold inlay action there, but I mean, if you walk around this car, there's all kinds of cool stuff inside. Got the precision racing style shifter, some fun stuff on the steering wheel there. I mean, this is definitely a cool mixture of a little bit of show, a little bit of go, flip some switches in your 6.4 kind of deal. I mean, this thing's definitely a wild looking ride. As you can see, it's definitely drawing a crowd, but you know, if you're gonna build a lowrider that stands out, this is definitely how you do it right here. Resto mods are always cool, especially when you take a 71 Camaro and absolutely turn it into an animal. And this one fits that bill. Super twin turbo. Well, yeah, twin turbo LS setup. Inside the car has been completely reworked. Hard to tell with the sun the way it is, but I like the overall aesthetic that they're going for this car. See if we can get a good front to side shot on it here. I mean, just look at that thing. Gorgeous the way everything is shaved, tucked, looking good, right and tight. Again, looking inside at that engine bay. Sun isn't cooperating, but you know, part of doing things live. But man, this thing is just absolutely just so smooth and sleek. Really nice looking car. Absolutely dig this build for sure. Check out this little pocket rocket. I mean, talk about a lot going on in a small package here. Twin turbo setup. Not sure what engine that is exactly, but I'm sure it probably really hauls the mail because this thing looks like it weighs about 22 pounds soaking wet. So it's definitely a pretty slick and sick build for sure. Let's take a look, see if we can see it on the inside of this bad boy. Oh yeah, got a Hall Tech control in it. Yeah, this thing is definitely a whole lot of business. Again, looks like it's kind of like a time attack build. I just kind of dig the overall aesthetic of the car, and then you mix in that level of horsepower. I mean, that thing's it is definitely pretty gnarly for sure. I would classify this as one clean build. Oh, running into a BMW. Man, that's a nice looking car. Would definitely cool. Belongs on the list. Would own. All right, so we found another cool car here, a 2012 BMW GT3 Z4. And again, this looks like something you'd see on Gran Turismo if you're playing it as a kid, building it. You know, really, really cool overall performance aesthetic on the car. But here's the cool thing. You've got your typical BMW power plant, Yeah, it's typical BMW fare. What's that? A crank-driven Pro Charger. That's wild. I would love to hear what this thing sounds like fired up, because that's not typically something you see on any import really, but I mean, just really, really cool overall look of this car. And was not expecting to see a big old crank-driven Pro Charger on there. Definitely a serious engine package for sure. Looks like a time attack type of car, but man, that's wild. A Pro Charged BMW engine. Definitely not on my bingo card for this year. Inside, totally all business once again with the Hall Tech controlling it. That's cool. I like that. If I win the lottery, I think this is going to be like my third purchase. Oh, Lord have mercy. Found another cool drag car here, a CTSV that's just been a little bit modified. Nice little touch here. I like the single turbo coming out where the Cadillac symbol would be. Late model intake or late model engineering engine, single turbo setup. I think this is an all steel, all glass car, but definitely that intimidating black finish and look. Changed the car over to a solid axle setup, but it's hard to beat a cool black Cadillac. And I mean, this thing is definitely a well thought out piece that made me stop and grab my attention just because of how clean it is. The plenty of chrome and horsepower on this one, that is for sure. So there's one car you can never ever go wrong with building, is the classic Toyota Supra. Always it's a hard car to mess up look-wise, but Turbo 2J, absolute iconic engine that's found its way in a lot of stuff, but it just looks at home in one of these bad boys. I mean, just so nicely modded, cool color. Like I dig the look of the Supras when they're built like this, and it's right-hand drive, so definitely a pretty cool car. Hall Tech controls on board, but yeah, I dig a Supra that has this whole kind of subtle modification to it. Well, if you're going to build a Chevel, you need to step things up a notch, because you see them built about 10,000 different ways, and they've all been built the same in some aspect. But this thing, holy cow, look at this. Love it's not your typical color you would see on a custom car. Absolutely slammed. Fills up those fender wells with a whole lot of wheel and tire. And then under the hood, they didn't skimp there. Nice Whipple LS, but man, this thing is absolutely just sharp. That's the word I would use to describe it. It just looks sharp. If there's one thing I love, is an interesting swap. So, looks like it's a drift car, not an LS, Gen 3 Hemi in a freaking, I think this is a Nissan? I'd have to look at the back. Yeah, it's a Nissan. Again, Gen 3 with a Magnuson supercharger and a Nissan. I love it. It is so wrong, it's right. Such a cool overall build with that stuff, thinking outside the box, and going with that engine setup. But I'm usually not a fan of drift cars, but when you stuff a Gen 3 Hemi in your drift car, you're okay in my book. That's wild. Like the packaging of it. I mean, if it fits, it ships. Actually, that fits. If you take a look at that, man, that's cool that they got that in there. And look, maybe a little bit of room to spare, but that's thinking outside the box. All right, so we have a really cool take on a Grand National build here. I mean, this is sleek, nasty, checks every box. Check out the wheel fitment on this thing. Those things are massive, but they just look like they should absolutely fit there. I dig this build totally with just how they've made this thing even meaner and nastier looking, but on the inside of the car, they still keep it looking real. You know, it still has the look of a classic G body, but still, you know, has some nice modern touches. But then under the hood, look at this whole situation again. Great build with all this quality parts. I mean, this is cool. Definitely dig their take on how to make a classic car, make it look even better. Wow. Totally cool. Would rock this thing, absolutely. So to finalize things, we'll leave on a rather Dragzine related note here. Of course, I'd find another drag car. We actually did a video with the owner over there, Jared, earlier on this car. We kind of give the rundown on it, but this is Larry Larson, old No Prep King's car. Body would actually fit perfectly for a Cadillac ATS, 100%. Panel for panel, this is OEM as it gets, but you know, instead of putting a supercharged, turbocharged, big block in it, Jared decided, let's stick a big old diesel billet motor in this thing and go really fast on small tires. You know, 3,000 plus horsepower of diesel rip coming out of this thing is definitely not what you'd expect, but no matter how many times I see this car, it still makes me stop and go, that's cool. Because not only it's Larry's old car, which matches, like I said, it's cool because you can put another Cadillac ATS next to this thing. You could use the same body panels. It's a perfect match for it. Jared decided to go diesel racing with it, so I'm gonna go check out some other cars. Plenty more stuff here. I could spend 2 days making videos here at SEMA, but that's all really I got time for, and make sure you check out our other videos on Dragzine.com.